game started.
Kudisdarungan. Kudisdarungam. What a name. Okay, d4. Let's go for a Grenfell this time. Well, that's going to rule that out. Let's play Queen's Pawn opening. Let's see if he wants to go. He's going for the fianchetto. Interesting. Okay, let's just play. I probably should have played with c6. I was thinking, when I touched the e-pawn, I was thinking I would play e5 in one move. So really, I should play c6 if I want to play e5. Anyway, this bishop has nowhere to go over here on the queen side, so he has to trade it off. And this should be okay for black, I guess. He should normally, white would normally in this setup want to open up this light square diagonal, so c4 would have been a more logical move there, I think. So let's do the usual stuff. Knight d7 to support c5. Okay, he wants to open up with the e-pawn push. Let's take. And then he gains some tempos here. I don't want to trade off that bishop. So he gets a knight on a good outpost, and I had to waste a couple moves to get a knight here to challenge it, and I haven't developed my bishop. So I'm behind in development, but I have the bishop pair, so that's a long-term advantage. I can still play c5 here. I don't see any tactics right away. He can sack here on f7, of course. You have to look for weaknesses in the e6 square. And come in here. So let's go ahead and undermine the center and see what he wants to do with his knights. Have to watch out for this diagonal, of course. He's not got a dark squared bishop, so maybe just rook b8 is a fine way to get off the diagonal, and then the bishop is free to move, or I can push the b pawn forward. Oh, his knight's defending that pawn. What am I thinking? What am I thinking? Okay, still rook b8 is okay, right? I could have traded his knight and then taken the pawn. I'm just not awake yet. So he can play b4 here and defend these pawns. It'll be a funny looking pawn structure over here, but he'll have an extra pawn. I probably will take his knight at that point and play bishop to f6 and try and get something going on the dark squared diagonal. Oh, he wants to jump in there. It's an interesting way to play. So this pawn is kind of defended. He's hitting the bishop. He is also hitting this pawn, which is actually defended. If I take, he takes back with the pawn. That looks dangerous. Actually, that pawn looks like it could be a menace. So is there some way to chase that knight off or force him to trade? Maybe, well, looks horrible. All my pieces have gone back to the back rank. But I made my mistake earlier when I could have just traded and grabbed that pawn. It's more than 2 minutes. Oh, he took. Okay. just making a note to myself. There's a section in there where you spend a long time. I want to edit out that section. Okay, brought his queen out. He's attacking on b7, but that b7 is still defended. And I can get back the c pawn now. So why don't I get back that pawn before he decides to grab it and hold it. Yeah, so his rook is looking dangerous on this file, but I can shore up the bishop there and play bishop to b7 to counteract his influence on the long diagonal. Okay, so he hops in there. That's interesting. It's my rook. It's defended by the bishop. If I play bishop here, he takes. I take the bishop, takes back. I take the knight, and just the exchange down. If I move the rook, however, he does have rook to he has rook to d8 there. So what can I do to counter that rook d8 idea? I move the queen away, but the queen has no squares, so I need a move here that saves the rook and gives the queen a square. I would rather go down the exchange here, I guess. Get rid of his strong bishop. And play on. So yeah, the pawns are even, so it's just being down the exchange. You can probably win this just by trading down into an endgame. So let's see if there are any clever tactics I can think of here. The extra pawn is here. So let's maybe just push the e-pawn forward. Can bring his rook to the second rank here. I can't stop that, but I can just move the queen out of the way. Oh, he moved his queen. I don't know what that was for. It's kind of looking at this diagonal. Maybe he's hoping to mate me. Rook here, I take. He takes check, and the queen's covering that diagonal. Yeah, that's pretty clever. So if I go here, pinning his rook, his queen's not protected there. So if he plays rook here, I'll take the queen. Okay, so he lines up that way. So at least there's no mate threat there. But well, let's take a look at the f2 square. The bishop and the queen are coordinating on f2. Yeah, so he's chasing me off that diagonal, and I don't, unfortunately I can't take it. It's not enough to distract his queen when it distracts the bishop as well. If I take here, check, queen takes, I still no. Yeah, the rooks defend each other pretty nicely. So where to go? Here maybe? Yeah, what's happening now? Rook to, I was thinking rook b7 would be interesting, or rook to c7. He's taking a look at that pawn. So I can let that pawn go, play rook c8 to c2. Let's try this. probably not correct. The bishop, though, is guarding the d8 square. I guess. Oh yeah, his queen is his queen is defending f2. That's a bit unfortunate. So let's march the pawn forward. Now he goes for the exchange. Yeah, it's probably a pretty good time. Pretty good time to do that exchange. Let's see, is there some way to pile up on that? I'm not seeing it. Okay. Here. And here, let's get the king off the back rank so that there's no immediate check and then promote the pawn. Okay, so I can trade queens here and get a pawn. Okay, so now it's a pawn for the exchange, and it is not at all clear. Not at all clear. So he's defending that guy. Let's put the bishop here, defending the rook. So when he plays there, I don't have to move my rook. And let's bring my king over. That's interesting. He probably should have gone directly to the... yeah, he's letting me bring my king over. That's not correct, I'm sure. I'm sure that's not right. He could have tried to chase my bishop away immediately, is what I'm trying to say. So now his knight has to stay. Let's shore up these pawns. So rook to, king. King to d6, bishop to b6.
Check.
To here. Oh no, I can't do that. I was going to say I could try and block it, but I can't.
Check.
Bishop to b6 to c5 doesn't work because he can play rook takes bishop and king takes rook and then queen the pawn. But I can go this far, and then I can put my king in front of the pawn, which is the ideal blockading square. And now, what can I do? What can I do at this point? Okay, he's defending the pawn, and he's attacking this one. Let's see, if I go here, I can at least get rid of his pawn. So it'll be down to rook and pawn versus bishop. That's probably winning for white, I think, with good play. He can start to check my king away here, or he can take the pawn. But letting me have a pawn is probably not good. So maybe I get enough counterplay here to hold the draw. Well, not a well-played game.
Check.
That's the idea. Yeah, he needs to use the power of the rook and threaten with this king as well. I can't really move the bishop. I need to keep it on this diagonal. I'm not sure what he's trying to do. Yeah, maybe he's trying to set up some kind of mating debt with the king and my bishop. Yeah, that's convenient. Now I can take the pawn. Unless he does that. And I'm not taking the pawn. Now I can push this pawn. Oh, just one more step. So actually I can distract it at a critical moment and then take this pawn, I guess. Probably the way to draw the game. The simplest way to draw. So this is a book draw. But we're on move 67, so for the 50 move rule would take us up to move 117. We'll see if he plays that long. He's going to play on. Sad. Check. Of course, I can always make mistakes. You never know. He has nothing to lose. Really has nothing to lose.
Check.
Because
game drawn.
Even if he loses the rook, I can't mate him. So anyway, that ended in a draw. I'll see you guys later. Bye.